There's no doubt they're not as good without Le'Veon Bell, but I'm still somewhat surprised at the defensive side of this ball. I'm not going to lie. That quite honestly has been the more surprising side of the ball to me for culmination of the entire year.
Yeah, well, I think last week we saw them able to get after the quarterback much better. Or they played the Bucs last week, and we saw them get behind the line of scrimmage and harass Ryan Fitzpatrick a little more, and that felt a little closer to home because the Steelers, we can talk about defensively for them. The hallmark's always been the front seven.
Right.
You know, certainly Troy Polamalu for a long time and Ryan Clark, our colleague here and former Steeler, were guys that helped define that era. But it's always been a franchise built on the front seven, and that group still goes out there, can get the job done, but it's this continued statement that the back end of our defense is going to stay the weak spot no matter how we try to address it.
There is no balance in this offense right
now.
Well,
there isn't. And listen, it was 14-14 at half.
Exactly. It's not a huge runaway game.
And it's not like the third quarter was a big blowout of points. It was just 3 points for Baltimore. So saying the score got away from him to knock off the run to the fact you only had 11 runs for a Pittsburgh Steelers team.
With 47 pass attempts.
I don't know if I'm buying that.
I don't buy it either.
No, this is, I think, a Steelers team that's trended that way for a while, and this is something we kind of have to acknowledge that this is a larger league trend. You look at the passing numbers going up through the early portion of the season, and based on the rules and now the added protection the quarterback's getting, it behooves you to pass a little more. Like, I think it's getting to a point where it's a lot smarter for you to be upping the ante and being in the 40 attempt range.
6:35 and 50 seconds. Junior drops the behooves card.
There you go.
Nicely done. Academic All-American on full display right there.
So what do we think? What do we think of both? Baltimore goes to Cleveland next week. And Pittsburgh, they host Atlanta, who while their defense has been decimated by injuries, they lose in what was a good game, a high-scoring game yesterday with Cincinnati, 37-36. But, they can put up points as well. Do we believe in Baltimore now? Do we believe they're one of the one of the better teams out there now?
Here's what you can say definitively. You give Joe Flacco better weapons, and he'll perform. He was 28 of 42, 363 yards. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's been the thing. They don't have much of a running game either, quite frankly. Alex Collins has not been the bellwether back they thought he might be this year, and Buck Allen, 10 carries for 30 yards. But you have John Brown, Willie Snead, Michael Crabtree, all these new receivers, and you look at all the receivers that he's thrown to last night. Brown, Snead, Williams, Boyle, Crabtree, Moore, Allen, White. I mean, you're mixing it up. A lot of different people caught balls from Joe Flacco last night. So the thing that I'm taking away 4 games in, 25% of the way into the season, is that you're seeing a Baltimore offense that has a lot of layers to it.
So are we ready to play the game then? Because we've got some teams in that middle pack. Like, are you like knee-jerk reaction, quarter point of the season? Because this is when we can start to decipher trends.
Yep.
Do you think Baltimore is good?
I do, because I think this is a league that, just as you said, and we know, is leaning toward offense with the protection the quarterbacks are getting.
Leaning?
Yeah, a hard lean.
Falling forward toward it.
And you know what? They're a good offense. Again, not a great running game, but as our old, good friend, our buddy, our former workmate here, Russell Baxter, used to say, it's not about sometimes yards, but about rushing attempts. They had 30 rushing attempts. So
you have to honor the run.
Yeah, you honor the run. You keep that balance going there. And with those new weapons, that's worked well. Sometimes you're not sure how the mesh is going to work with new players, but right now in Baltimore, it's working.
Well, not only that, but they are really good defensively right now. That's the other thing that's sort of getting lost in this equation. They are not giving up. Now, granted, 274 for Ben last night, but that's okay. You can live with that. You can live with that kind of thing. They are able to produce, and their defense is really one of the best in terms of what is the overall statistic in the NFL, yards allowed per game. So they're doing a nice job.
All right, I need quicker answers from you guys now, because I want to try and figure that out, especially in the AFC North. Are the Steelers good?
I don't know.
Quarter pole. 1-2-1.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're not good.
No, they're 1-2-1.
No.
They're not good.
They're not.
They're not.
All right, that's not a good team. The Bengals.
The Bengals are good again because offensive firepower. Mixon was even out of this game. It was my man Gio who I had on my DraftKings that did me well
yesterday. I had
Gio,
and I changed it at the last second.
I had him and had
crazy.
AJ Green, and you got AJ Green, one of the better receivers in the league right now. You lose a big weapon in Tyler Eifert. We'll get to that horrible injury. But they have been going to other tight ends as well because Tyler had been out. So, yes, I think they're a good team.
I think this is going to stay a good team. Defense, too. Don't forget about that. That D-line, freak shows. All right, and the Falcons, good or bad?
Falcons are bad.
I think the Falcons, offensively, I think they're good. Defensively, they've been destroyed. They're the mash unit, right? Yeah. They're the mash unit this year
safeties out
on
for the
defense.
Year.
So they're going to have to be in this. It's outscoring you in the 30s every game to try and win.
And by the way, there was something that happened in the Falcons game that proved once and for all, and again, I've been trying to tell you forever, wins and losses are not a quarterback stat.
Yeah.